Hi everybody, and welcome to this video where I'm going to give you my thoughts on Miss Universe pageant that's coming up in less than 2 weeks on the 16th of December. This year it seems like a really strong group of contestants from what I've seen. I really think that every year it seems like it gets bigger and better, and this is no exception. So, this year the pageant's going to be in Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm looking forward to the pageant as always. And I've looked at a lot of videos, and I've looked at, of course, pictures, but pictures to me just do not tell a whole story, of course. And I've talked to some other people who are very aware of this and knowledgeable about this, so I look at everything I can find and then I make some decisions. And these are just first thoughts. These are not final predictions. I don't do my final predictions until after the preliminary contest next, whatever. I don't think that's next week. Maybe the week after that. But whatever week that is, I think it is next week. So I'll have another video after the preliminary to give sort of my final thoughts and final guesses. Now, I want to say this because some people get very, very particular about this, meaning, you didn't get this right, you didn't get that right. You know what? I don't see everything that the judges see, especially interviews and things like that. They obviously have a lot more to go on than I do. So I can only go on what I have access to, and I enjoy doing this, so I'm not complaining. I just want to be people to understand that the knowledge and the views that we have are much more limited than the judges. With that said, let's go on to my top 16 at this point and who they are. So first of all, I want to mention Miss Curacao. So Curacao is really seems strong this year. I think she's got a chance definitely to make it into the top 16. I would not be surprised to see her there. Also, I would mention Miss Canada, who I understand is a model. She seems very strong as well, and I think will be in the top 16. We also could look at Miss Ecuador. Ecuador is not usually in the top 16, but I think this year could be an exception. So I think that with her look and her walk, it is possible that she'll be in the top 16, and right now I think so. Now, here's one that might be a surprise to some, Miss Ukraine. I think Miss Ukraine has a chance. She is got a different look, and she's much more polished than some that I've seen, and so I think she has a good chance as well. That brings us to Miss Spain. Okay, now obviously everyone's heard about Miss Spain. And by the way, these are not in a particular order at this point. I'm just listing top 16. The order will be determined by the competition next week, especially, like I said, the preliminaries. So, back to Miss Spain, though. I think everyone has heard by now that Miss Spain has transitioned from male to female, and so is not a biologically born female. And that's caused some controversy, and I understand why, because, some people don't think that person or someone like her should be able to compete in a pageant that is for women. You know, I see it both ways, but it is what it is. It is allowed at this point. And so she's competing. She won her pageant for Spain, and she's going to represent Spain. So I don't see a point in really worrying about whether she's there or not because she's there, and whether she should be able to compete or not because they're letting her. So that's okay. And she's a first that we know of, at least. Maybe there has been another transsexual candidate that we didn't know about. But she's openly transsexual, so I think at least we can say that she's accomplished a lot, and I think she has a chance. I think because of the factors of her situation and Also, her strength as a candidate, she will be in the top 16. I would be really surprised if she didn't. Now, she is actually not one of my favorites at this point. I'll have to see her. From everything I've seen, she seems a little stiff in her presentation. But the last video I saw of her was actually the best one. So, now I saw an article, by the way, that said that bookies, people who do the gambling odds, are giving her quite a good shot to win Miss Universe. I'll be surprised, but we'll see. She could blow us away that night. Okay, but moving on for now, I want to mention Miss South Africa. Now, obviously, Miss South Africa won last year and was a beautiful woman who seems to have done really well as Miss Universe. This one I don't personally feel like is nearly as strong as the winner last year, but I still think we'll make it into the top 16, and we'll see how she does. That brings me to Miss Mexico. So Miss Mexico does seem very strong this year. I was really impressed with her in all the videos I've seen, and I think, if I remember correctly, she's pretty young. I think she might be the one that's just 19 of the ones I'm looking at here, but I'm not positive of that. But regardless of her age, she has a great walk, she has poise and confidence. So yeah, she's absolutely one of my top, probably in the top 10 at this point in my mind. That brings me to Miss Kenya. Now Miss Kenya is not often in the top 10 or maybe even 16. But I think this year she could surprise us, and as one of the people from Africa, contestants, she could get one of those spots. I don't know, does anybody know, are they definitely doing it the way they did it last year with the regions of the world? I kind of hope not. I didn't like that. I didn't think that was a good concept, but it still worked out because, they sort of had the wild card section, so you got this section, the Americas, and in this section, and wild cards that we threw in, so just to balance it out. So just do it the normal way. I think that's a total waste, and it's probably cost some people some spots that should have been in there. Okay, I don't want to forget Miss Puerto Rico. Now, I was talking to someone recently and thought, it's interesting that Miss Puerto Rico in some pageants competes separately, and in some pageants, there's just a Miss USA or Miss America because, that Puerto Rico is obviously part of the USA, which some people seem to forget, not mentioning any names here. Anyway, Puerto Rico is definitely strong this year, and I think will be in the top 16. Has a chance to be, one of the top maybe 6. So, that brings me to Miss USA herself. So Sarah is her name, Sarah Rose Summers, I believe. Now, when I watched Miss USA and judged Miss USA, I did not think she was one of my absolute favorites, but she grew on me as the pageant went on, and she certainly did a great job, and I can see why she won. But I definitely thought there were people who were more deserving than her. But she seems to have really taken off and run with it. By the way, she's from Nebraska, which I believe, I remember correctly, was the first time Nebraska ever won Miss USA. So, Miss USA will be in the top 16. There's no doubt about that. Probably will be in the top half of that, and we'll see how far she can go. She could go pretty far, I think. That brings me to Miss Venezuela. So Miss Venezuela a lot of times is strong, and I think this year is no exception, but she's really a beauty. I can't say enough good things about her right now. So I really like Miss Venezuela. Miss Vietnam. Now, Miss Vietnam, not often in the top 16, but very, very strong this year. In fact, one of the things I wrote down is very different. Of course, she has a short hairstyle, which, more people need to look into that, especially as they get older. Got too many, I think, women who never do anything different with their hair. Now, in the pageants, I'm not saying they should all have short hair, not at all. I think that is dependent on the person, and you don't want to have your hair make you look older. And some may think hers does that. I don't personally think so. I'm not sure how old she is, but anyway, I like it. I think it's very stylish. I think it looks great on her, and I think she's also a model, if I remember correctly, and I just really liked her. So I think she is in the top 16 as well. That brings me to Brazil. Brazil often has a strong candidate, and I think this year is no exception. So Brazil will probably be in the top 16. And let's not forget Miss Thailand. Of course, that's the host country, as I said earlier. And I think that Thailand is strong this year. Now, personally, I don't think Thailand is as strong as some of the most recent years. I think some of their other contestants might have been a little stronger. But again, it depends what she can do once she gets to the preliminaries and also in the pageant itself, assuming she gets in that top 16. Okay, let's see where that brings me. I think that brings me to two others. And, you know, I'm going to mention Miss Colombia, but I don't know if she's going to make it in there. I just want to mention her. I'm not as impressed with Colombia's candidate this year as most years. I don't really have a strong feeling about her. Now, she probably still will make it into the top 16, but I just, you know, for me personally, she's not doing it from what I've seen. And I will say that what I've seen has been a bit limited with her, but I'm just not that impressed. But who I am very impressed with is Miss Philippines. So I want to end the video today talking about Miss Philippines because I think she's so strong, and I think she has an excellent chance to win the whole pageant. I think she could be our next Miss Universe. Really, right now, here's what I would say is Miss Philippines and Miss Vietnam and Miss Venezuela, Miss USA, Miss Puerto Rico, Miss Mexico. They're probably my top 6. And I would have Miss USA on that bubble, you know, like maybe not in it, but definitely the last spot right now. But Miss Philippines, I think, is one of the strongest contestants in many years that they've had. You know, the young lady who won a few years ago, Pia Wurtzbach, I believe it was, she was excellent. But I don't think she had the confidence and the poise quite as much as this young lady does, which, you know, I wrote down her name, but it's Catrona, I think, or Catriona. I think it's Catriona. She's just very strong. I mean, I'm so impressed with her. And, you know, for the last few years, while I've done these videos for Miss Universe, of course, I always have those wonderful Miss Philippines fans trying to convince me to pick Miss Philippines, and I only pick people who I think really deserve it and really have a chance to win. And this year, you don't have to convince me because I think she does. So yeah, again, Miss Philippines, Miss Vietnam, Miss Mexico, South Africa, Brazil, Venezuela, Thailand. One of the ones I haven't mentioned that, you know, is somewhat possible is Dominican Republic. I think Dominican Republic always tends to surprise people. But right now I don't have Dominican Republic in my top 16, just right outside the top 16. And I would also mention one other one, and that's Miss Malta. She's strong this year. So again, right outside the top 16 and could inch her way in. But anyway, those are my thoughts right now. I hope that you agree with some of those, and I'm sure you disagree with some. So let me know in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe to my videos. Again, thank you for watching, and I will be back sometime later next week after the preliminaries. Take care. Bye.